incredible basketball environment. A year ago I had to stand up here and we were humiliated, and I think that really stuck in the back of our kids' minds. But we beat a very athletic, hard-playing, team that has had our number here the last couple of years. And I thought the difference in the game defensively, at least from my vantage point in the first half, we were a team that created 13 turnovers, not because we were out in the passing lanes, but because we really kept our defense tight. There weren't many driving lanes, and I think that's what led to a lot of those traveling violations, turnovers. Did a lot better job this game than in game one. They shot extremely well from the three, which has not been their MO the majority of the season. But in a high-level game like this, it doesn't surprise me that big-time players like Chris Johnson and Williams shoot the ball as well as they do. And then in the second half, I thought they wore us down a little bit. We got tired, but we found a way to gut out the win. And people have really crushed our bench for the entire year about lack of depth. And our bench comes up with 8 points and 9 rebounds, and their bench had 3 points. So I think you got to give a lot of credit to kids like Jeff Robinson and Andrew Taylor for playing their roles. But very fortunate to win. Again, great atmosphere, and happy, proud of my kids.
Too, and Dante talked about how there was an emphasis to have a really strong start, just because in the past maybe that's been the difference in the game. Were you pleased with how they started, kind of talking about what you just mentioned?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm really pleased. The first TV timeout, we come to the bench with a 1-point lead. And as a coach, you don't want to sell it to your kids like we have to get off to a great start. We have to be, we have to make sure that we get off to a great start. You come to the bench, you're down 12-4. You don't want to feel like you're deflated for the rest of the game. So we talked about it, and the biggest thing I told our guys, whether we're winning or losing coming into that first 4-minute war, we have to make sure that we show Dayton who we are for the rest of the game. We had to establish how hard we're going to play. Offensively, that we were understanding that we wanted to play deeper into the shot clock, get shots that we wanted. And if we can do that and sort of set the tone of who we are, then I thought we'd be fine. And we did that, and the score really at the end of the first 4-minute war was irrelevant.
Chris, I really thought you shrank the court, maybe more than I've seen other Dayton opponents. Is that primarily Chris Wright trying to make him more of a perimeter guy versus getting to the rim?
Well, that's really who we are, but it's easier said than done. Dayton's given us fits because when Chris Wright or Juwan, drive the ball, the other wings don't stand there. It's like some teams do. They'll circle behind, and it puts you in a pickle as a defender off the ball. Do you help on penetration, or do you stay with your man? And I thought we struck that balance fairly well, and we were able to crowd the floor. And again, we're not a turnover team trying to get takeaways, but I thought that the stickiness in the half court led to a lot of the turnovers in the first half.
You mixed in the zone a couple times, about 8 possessions. You only gave up about 2 buckets on it. Can you just talk about that a little bit?
Dayton's a very rhythmic team. They start to hit you with penetration, and Coach Gregory does a phenomenal job with X's and O's. They've got a million set plays, sort of the Michigan State family. And I wanted our kids to not be brutalized possession after possession with different actions. And so we knew, like most teams, they don't have a larger zone package than man. We wanted to come out and maybe steal some minutes defensively, keep our kids fresher, so that in the second half we were able to, play tired, a little bit easier. And it helps when they didn't make a couple shots and we're able to rebound that.
Holloway, they tie it up, and then Holloway draws the pitching foul 40 feet away and then makes the three. Talk about the confidence you have in him to make those kind of plays.
He's really elevated himself from last year. He was a really good player a year ago. He's a phenomenal player today. He's, in my opinion, I know I'm not really objective, he's the best player in our conference, and I think his play and our play as a team is reflective of that. I hope he wins it because of all the hard work that he's put in, but you got to be a fool to not put the ball in his hands down the stretch. And the first ball screen, he was able to sort of wiggle around and get an angle and get to the rim and get fouled, where he never misses. But the second ball screen, Dayton did a great job. They really jumped out before the screen was even set, and somehow he was able to weave his magic and get to a spot on the floor where he could shoot a step back. And as I told those guys in the locker room, big-time players make big-time plays and big-time games, and he did that.
Chris, I know you're everybody's, top game when you guys come into town in the league. Did you prepare your guys for this atmosphere at all, or did you have to come in?
Didn't have to prepare our older kids for the atmosphere. And again, we're not playing a lot of freshmen at this point, but they saw it firsthand. You know, you can talk about it. You can say, hey, it's going to be a checkerboard out there. They're going to have, you know, towels being waved. There's going to be a crazy dude at halftime, the electric song. But until you experience it and you're able to keep your poise through it and be the team we are every single day in practice on that floor in front of those people, you know, it's just talk. You got to be able to keep your composure in those tough times.
They struggled offensively to get many good looks close to the basket. Did you feel like it was because of your defense against Dayton and you did a better job keeping him out of the lane as opposed to the first time?
We did. You know, put so much on Terrell's shoulders, and you know, that's why a lot of times he's not bringing up the ball. I didn't want to get him worn out, but we also made that conscious decision that Mark does a better job, I think, when he's really locked into a dribbling challenge, a guy that can, you know, use hesitations because he's as quick as a cat. He really keeps guys in front of him. And Terrell does a great job of keeping his concentration off the ball, where a guy like Williams can't get open looks. So you know, that was big for us to be able to keep Dayton out of the lane. I thought Mark, along with our bigs who were helping on 1,000,000 ball screens, did just that.
Talk a little bit about what they were doing against two on the ball screen. Two was saying that they were trapping him especially hard.
They were really, you know, a lot of times we tell two and our guards to leave early, so that even though they want to jump out and double it, if you leave early, it's, you know, he's not in position to do that. But their bigs really worked hard. They sprinted out faster than our bigs, and they were trapping him before the ball screen was even occurred. It's a good deal. The thing I'll say is if you get really aggressive like that, he has the ability to split and get in the lane. And just like Dayton, if you get in the lane with a penetrating guard like that, he's going to make the right decision 95% of the time. So, you know, we prepared for that. We also got a couple of bigs rolling when we threw back behind the ball screen. We got a couple layups because if their bigs are 40 feet out on the floor and that ball gets reversed really quickly, it's awfully hard to get back into the play close to the rim.
For you to be in this position, this was, we got 2 more games left, I'm sure you're not going to look down, this was the biggest game you had. For you to be in the position that you are at the top of the A-10, after which you guys have been through the injuries and all the other stuff, what does that say about your team and your program?
I think you know, Jay Bill said it on Twitter the other day. You know, he said Xavier's got some winners, and I really feel like we do have some kids in the locker room that have experienced a lot of success. You know, I told Jamel as we were walking off the floor, it's the first time he's won a Dayton. You know, and they understand things like that. Like that, you know, Jamel, he was conscious if we lost this game tonight or today, that he'd have been one of the few guys that, you know, never won here. And so things like that motivate, you know, our guys. And you know, I think it gets passed down from the older players to the younger players, just how competitive and how much of a championship attitude, you know, we have as Xavier.
You talk about the foul trouble in the first half. Jamal only playing 7 minutes, having to play Jeff so much. Yeah, it's tough. You know, that first foul that he got in transition, you know, I thought it was deja vu from a year ago with both of our bigs last year getting 2 fouls each. But, you know, tough call. You just have to play through those things. Fortunately, when he got back out on the floor, he was still effective. He didn't play like a guy that wasn't a part of the game, which happens a lot with guys that get in foul trouble. He's had a phenomenal year. I think he's one of the best, if not the best, power forward in our conference. I know that's saying a lot, but we're going to miss him. He's a warrior. I don't know if there are many players in the country as strong as Jamel.